However, now that I'm here today at about 90% complete, I would say that it was worth it. I mean, the fact that I am considering another opportunity, developing another property, tells you that it hasn't scared me away to the point where I would not consider doing it again.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Good, boss. How about you?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Charles Allen Dickerson III. I am a commercial real estate investor and developer here in the city of Detroit in the metropolitan area. We're standing in front of my most recent project located here just north of the boulevard and east of Woodward in the area well known as the North End. I purchased the property back in 2019, and I anticipated building as many units as I could on the property that I acquired. Here behind me you'll see a building that's about 90% complete. It has a total of 29 residential units and one community asset. And that is going to probably be a barber or a beauty salon. It's off of the rear of the building. Very excited to be here. It's been a work in progress. We're almost at the end. Had many hurdles, as I mentioned to the people that were at my groundbreaking, but being a guy who was tenacious, I was able to persevere and find a way to get over them. But again, we're at the final throes of it. We're right here in front of the lobby, where we will have a lobby, pretty swanky in my opinion. You're gonna have a coffee bar. You're gonna have a few large screen smart TVs. My property manager will have current events streaming on a daily basis. We're also going to have a fireplace in the lobby with a number of pretty sharp seating areas.
How many units of apartments?
We're going to have 29 apartments in the building. Of those 29, 10 will be micro units, 15 will be studio units, two bedroom, 2 baths, and 2 one-bedrooms with 1 bath. Every apartment in the building will have their own outdoor space, either a private balcony or a private patio. Every apartment is going to have stainless steel appliances, including stove, refrigerator, microwave, and dishwasher. Every apartment will also have in-unit laundry. We're going to have private parking, secure private parking for those who want it off-street, and there will also be plenty of street parking. Being situated where we are, again, a block north of the boulevard and 3 blocks east of Woodward, that is going to allow people to walk 3 blocks to the queue line, which will take you to any of the major sporting events in Detroit. So again, the Lions play there, the Red Wings play there, the Pistons play there, and the Lions play there. Just a pretty cool area. You're just outside of, again, the New Center area, Midtown, so plenty of restaurants, bars, dining, and so on and so forth. So again, this is the lobby I mentioned outside there. This is where the 65-inch Wi-Fi enabled fireplace will go. Here on the wall, you're going to have the 3 smart screen TVs, and below you have the coffee bar that will have coffee and tea on a daily basis. That will also double as an area for UPS, Amazon, Federal Express, and the post office to drop larger items. Coming down the hall here, here are my mechanical rooms, water, and suppression system here, HDTV, or CCTV in there. Here will be your electrical meters, along with the house camera. And here will be the tenant amenity, which I mentioned a few moments ago. So the tenant amenity will have a space and a door for the public to come in, as well as the tenants from the property can also access. They can also access the area from the common area hall. It's slated right now to have a barber working or operating out of this area. They will also have their own private bath here, which will be ADA compliant, and this can be either an area for a second operator or a seating area for people waiting on their turn. Mailbox coming over here. One or two staircases.
So how long did it take you to get this project to the closing table?
Wow. Good question, Ed. Longer than normal because, again, I purchased the property in 2019. As we all know, the pandemic occurred during that time frame. So for a while there, we were not able to do anything. So my total timeline for pre-construction was probably just at 24 months. And here we're walking into a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, pretty cool unit. Cabinets are in, appliances are rolling in. Again, you're gonna have stainless steel refrigerator, stove, microwave, and dishwasher here. If you spin around here, Ed, check out the view.
Beautiful view. Look at that. Downtown. You got the Chroma building. Beautiful patio, or balcony more specifically. Nice. Talk to me about these tiles.
Okay, the tile, the backsplash. The backsplash, they're made of, I think they're 6x6 squares. My interior designer, her name is Danielle Cotton, and she works with Adults Interior, Adult Design Architecture. They wanted to give it an African theme, so to speak, and they gave me a few options as to tiles to choose, and then even they gave me the option of how to set the tile. And so I think that it came out pretty cool.
Absolutely.
I like the blue and the brown. It really complements the flooring as well as the cabinetry.
Man, this countertop is, I haven't seen one with this blue hue.
Yes.
And so that's pretty unique.
Yeah, this is a quartz countertop, so very resilient. And it's one of the newer products of the market, obviously.
Nice. And so this is a 1-bedroom unit.
This is a 2-bedroom.
2-bedroom. Nice.
2-bath.
2-bed, 2-bath.
Walking into the main room. So the main room obviously has a pretty cool view of the downtown skyline again.
Mm-hmm.
You have a pretty cool sized closet there. Here in the bathroom, you have a pocket door.
Oh man, that's a great idea.
Kinda
So what made you decide to do pocket door versus?
I have to give credit to my architect.
Absolutely.
Space saving, and
Yep.
it makes good sense.
Yes,
if you
it
want
does.
to kind of go through there, you can kind of get a view of the restaurant. So this is attached to the main bedroom.
Beautiful, beautiful walk-in shower. And so this actually has 2 bedrooms.
Two
I'm sorry,
bedrooms.
two bathrooms as well as
Yes.
2 bedrooms.
Correct. The 2-bed, 2-bath, about 700 and I think 50 square feet or so.
Okay.
All of the power is not on, so you can't see the bathrooms very well. Here is the main bathroom that your guest would use and your roommate, but a very, very nice shower.
With
nice size
a
bathroom.
closet as well.
Yes, and
Nice.
inside the closet is where the washer and dryer hookup will be.
Okay.
And in my 2 bedrooms with 2 baths, and in my 1 bedrooms with 1 bath, you're gonna have full-size washer and dryer sets.
Nice.
So the benefit is you're gonna have more people, and you're gonna have a larger piece of equipment to be able to wash with. My smaller units, my micros and my studios will have the tower systems, which will have the smaller capacity washer and dryer.
Nice.
Here at the door, at each front door, you're gonna have an audio-visual door system where when your guests come to visit, you're able to talk to them, to see who they are, and buzz them in if you so please. But that's where the door entry will go, at the front door of each unit.
Now that's fancy.
Come through here. This is an example of a hybrid micro/studio unit. It's about 250 square feet in total.
Okay.
All of my micros, including the 2 that I have that are hybrids, they'll be fully furnished. So I'm putting full-size beds in these with 2 drawers under the bed and in the pedestals. You're also going to have a nightstand. You're going to have a table with 2 chairs where they will have leaves on each end to expand it. And then over here on the wall, where you see I have the raised outlet, that will be a place where we can, I'm going to actually install TV. This particular micro will have a 40-inch TV, smart TV there on the wall.
I also noticed that you went with 2 different color cabinets. I think I saw some darker color cabinets in the 2-bedroom unit.
So my 2 bedrooms, my 1 bedroom, the larger units are going to have a little bit darker cabinet. I wanted different colors and different units versus having the same thing everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the compromise we came up with. So my micro and my studios will all have the lighter color cabinetry.
Nice.
They all will have the same LVT flooring, and again, they all have the washer and dryer hooked up. There. You're going to have a little bit smaller refrigerator here. You're going to have a little bit smaller stove and microwave, and an 18-inch dishwasher. And again, if you look there, everybody has a private outdoor space. That one has a full door wall. I think it's 6 feet with the truss out the outside. Here is an example of a studio. My studios are a little bit different than a lot of people would imagine. When I was in the planning phase, along with the outdoor areas for each unit and the washer and dryer, I really wanted to be creative and have doors that could be closed in what I was going to make into a bedroom area, so that although you're in a smaller unit, although you're in a studio, you could have some privacy if you so chose to. So if you look over here, a pretty ample sized bedroom. Again, I have a raised outlet inside of the bedroom for a television to go on the wall. Now these, I will not have the TVs installed when they move in. However, they come with this idea here, where you have the sliding door with the lucid panel in the center. So when you have the light come in from your door wall, some light will filter into your bedroom if you so choose. But as you see, you still have a degree of privacy. You can't see the person behind the wall or the door.
So wait a minute, this is a studio, but this to me looks like a bedroom. Help me understand why this is still a studio.
You know, again, my understanding of a studio up until this project was a studio was one large open space. While doing the project, I was made aware that that is not necessarily the case. The different titles given to different size units is dependent upon the square footage. And these are just over 400 square feet, and this would be considered a studio, not a 1-bedroom. Okay. Again, so in the studios, you're gonna have pretty cool size appliances again, but you're gonna have the typical size appliances. You're gonna have the 24-inch dishwasher. You're gonna have a 30-inch stove, which is again unlike the micro, a 30-inch microwave and a very decent sized refrigerator. If you look above the sink there, you do have the 2 floating shelves, which will give you additional space for storage or for design if you so choose.
Nice. Man, you got ghosts in here, man. Who shut that door?
It's the wind. It's the door wall.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
Site, man. This is great. So the vision for you to put housing here, did you always have that thought that you wanted to do multifamily or an apartment complex on the site when you purchased it back in 2019?
Yes, this is all that I do. All that I do is residential real estate. I'm very comfortable with it. I also own 4 other buildings. I own 1 building in Ferndale, that's my only suburban property. I own 2 buildings 10 blocks south from here in Midtown. And my first building that I purchased in 2004, I still own, which is in Northwest Detroit, on Hubble near Pilgrim. Right. So to answer your question, when I purchased this property, I was bored and I was looking for something else to do. And I couldn't find anything else available priced the way that I wanted it in an area that I wanted. So I chose to buy some land that could be developed. I thought that my knowledge base and my experience would allow me to do it with ease. I soon there learned that there was a lot more to it than I initially anticipated. But again, being a driven person who has a bit of tenacity, we were able to get it done, get it across the finish line for the lending, the funding, and now we're almost ready to open up and have people call this place their home. It's a pretty cool location. As you can see, if you look in this direction, you have a pretty cool view of downtown Detroit. I was just telling the guys over there that the night of the fireworks this year, my immediate family and I came up here and were able to watch the fireworks for the first time ever on our own property at this point. Chroma building's right here. If you turn in this direction right here, you see the Fisher building. And there's a lot of activity in this general area. Henry Ford Hospital, the Detroit Pistons, and Michigan State have determined that they're going to invest $2.5 billion into this corridor here. They've actually purchased 75% of the Fisher building, and there's another developer building with the same GC that I have about 4 blocks in this direction. They're building 161 doors, and that same entity, Michigan State, Henry Ford, and the Pistons, have also purchased or bought out 75% of that building. So I'm expecting to get some overflow from that, combined with the fact that we are just a couple blocks outside of the Milwaukee Junction and 4 or 5 blocks outside of Midtown. I truly believe that the growth is going in this direction from downtown Detroit, Porktown, Brush Park, Midtown. New Center already has been tapped. The next logical place is the North End. And as you see, I am just 1 block outside of the East Grand Boulevard thoroughfare. I see a lot more growth going into that direction as well. There's another pretty established developer from Detroit who's done a lot of time in California and LA doing development, who is in the beginning stages right now of building out a new little community over here where they're going to have about 180 doors, including retail, some townhomes, apartments, and the such. And that's pretty much it in a synopsis. I also own 2 additional buildings down Beauton that I've owned for about 20 years and one I've owned for about 10 years. So it just makes sense for me to be right here in this general vicinity. We're going to the 7th floor.
Okay.
Each of the hallways that you see has ample lighting. We have almost floor to ceiling windows that allow a nice light to come in.
Yep.
Makes it feel very open.
Yeah, I love these windows in this hallway. Brightens it up without the need to have too much lighting. It's nothing like natural light.
We'll go to the next one. This is one these guys are working here. That's
Okay.
a 1 bedroom,
Yep.
1 bath.
Is that the only 1 bed, 1 bath you have?
Down
Nice.
here, I'll take you with you.
And so, back in 2024, like, what made you get into real estate in general, right? Because I'm assuming that was less development and more landlord and investment.
Yes.
And so, you know, the 2004 Charles Dickerson, like, what was in your mind at that point in order to kind of take that leap to get into real estate the way you did?
You know, Ed, I grew up in a house with 2 parents and 2 sisters. Parents were both hardworking people. They did the best that they could to put us in good environments. We went to private schools. My mom worked her way up in corporate America. My dad did for a while as well. But then my dad kind of jumped out there and became an entrepreneur. So for probably the last 10 years, I lived with my parents before going away to school. I saw my father running his own business, and I actually worked in my dad's business with him. And I didn't realize it until years later that just being in the household with my parents allowed me to see things that maybe some other younger or young at that time African American men saw or didn't see. It's been brought to my attention that my dad owning his own business let me know that it was possible. So I did the corporate America thing for just under 10 years with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I grew with them, did pretty well. I actually ran half of the city of Dayton, Ohio for a number of years.
Wow.
And when I decided to as I call it, retire from corporate, I retired from corporate and I bought my first business, which was then called Mailboxes, etc. Did pretty well with that. That was in 2000, no, that was in 99, I think it was. I bought a second location in Livonia in 2001. Again, did well. While working in that environment and looking at the landscape, if you will, I realized I needed to kind of diversify, to not have all my eggs in one basket. So I decided to buy some real estate. You always heard about how real estate was a great investment, create passive income and create generational wealth and all that. So again, my first building, I bought a 6-unit building. I was determined not to be one of the guys who bought a single or a double. I wanted to buy something larger. So I bought the 6-unit, and a friend of mine, when I was buying it, whose family had been in real estate for years, told me that buy as large as you can because it takes the same effort. It takes the same effort to run a 6-unit as it does a 12-unit, as it does a 24-unit, as it does a 48-unit. So with that mindset, I knew that I was going to scale over time.
Wait. Repeat that so people can kind of understand. It takes the same energy to do what now?
So whether you buy a 6-family or a 12-family or a 24-unit or 48-unit, once you have your process in place, it's the same work. The difference is what you can stomach as far as what your resources are and what you feel comfortable with. So again, my first deal was 6 units, and then from there I've grown to 20 and 23, and now this is 29. There are many opportunities out there for people to do more. We have friends that you know, Chris, or that I know of that are doing 200-unit buildings. Again, these are African American developers in the city of Detroit. Another guy who we know is in the throes of pre-construction for a 434-unit building. So we can do whatever we set out to do, and then we have a group of people that are willing to share information with us as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're going to try and find.
Talk about this design aspect here.
Okay, we're walking into a couple of micro units that have a communal space that is shared between these 2 units right here.
Nice.
I'm going to be furnishing the micros from the beginning till the end. You're going to have 4 chairs out here with 2 tables. And this, my interior designer and architect again, have visions to be an area outside of your apartment where you are able to, you can call it your own, but just get out of the confines of your apartment. So whether you wanted to have a Zoom call out here, whether you wanted to just entertain out here, this would be another exterior yet interior space to your living room.
Great concept. I haven't seen that in any development where it's like a pocket co-working space, or not necessarily co-working, but an office space that, you know, the tenants can have access to outside of their space, opening up, you know, their livable space in a way. So I like that idea.
Correct, thank you. And now we're actually in the middle of the micro. Right, again, these units, in addition, they are inclusive of the communal space, total about 222 square feet to be exact. You still have a full-size balcony where you're standing, Ed. If you were to spin to your right, there you go, on your right. You're going to have the table with the leaves there.
Okay.
And you're going to have a TV here when you move in. There'll be a 32-inch smart TV there on the wall. You're going to have the refrigerator here. Again, a pretty decent-sized refrigerator, stove, microwave, and dishwasher.
Your thoughts on micro units that are furnished, right? I only see that downtown Detroit. We're in the north end, which is a few miles north of downtown.
Correct.
What are your thoughts and or what has been the response when it comes to the micro units and leasing these out? With your current process of listing them online.
My inspiration for this property was the 28 grand downtown, which is a building consisting of over 100 micro units. That building has been full, I believe, since the inception.
Mm-hmm.
That building has a waiting list. And
Wow.
I'm really big on density, and I knew that the more units that I could make work well within my footprint, the better off I was.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that it was going to cost me a little bit more in the beginning to build out the additional kitchens and bathrooms and things, but I also knew that they would generate more money per square foot and would be more profitable down the road. The other piece to it is that you hear about community engagement and things happening within the city limits where people have been in place for many generations can afford to live in the areas when new come into play. I wanted to make sure that I was going to create a situation where people who have been here for generations could still afford it. So this micro unit is an example of a person being able to live here. This unit is going to be under $700 per month. My building is also 50% affordable, so we're going to have 50% of the units being 50% of the AMI, 60% or 80%. So we're going to be able to pretty much work with anyone who wants to live within this area. And again, it's just a pretty cool area. If you look out that door, Ed, you'll see there's a city park right there.
Yep.
There's a city park right there where you can go and picnic. You can go and swing. There are basketball courts over there, but a really cool park there. The next block over, we also have a mobile bike stand where if you don't have a car, which a lot of the younger people don't have today, you're able to grab a bike and ride it downtown or wherever you'd like to go. To the Quinter Cut from here, everything is very reachable. As well as I mentioned earlier, you can walk 3 blocks and you're at the M1. So here we stepped into a 1-bedroom, 1-bath unit. Pretty sharp one. Again, you have a peninsula that comes out of the wall. Again, you have the quartz countertop.
Beautiful.
You have the overhang on the countertop, which gives you ample seating for 4 or 5 people, stools. You have a sink built into it. To the right from this vantage point will be the dishwasher, refrigerator, stove, and microwave there. As you mentioned, Ed, you have the hanging pendants that accent the peninsula. Full door wall again. If you come into this room here, this is the 1-bedroom of the unit. And these units have the largest bedrooms in the building. So you have ample space, if you like, for a king-size bed to go. This is what I call a hybrid unit. This is a cross between a studio, which would have had the 4 walls that would have enclosed it for a bedroom, and a micro. So it's just about 300 square feet. So it's not as large as a micro, it's not as small, it's not as a studio and not as small as a micro. However, I think dollar for dollar, pound for pound, you're getting a great value here. Pretty cool kitchen area, wall of cabinets and your appliances and things. Open area here for you to kind of design it however you like. We have suggestions of how to decorate and situate your furniture, but of course, once you get in, you can do whatever you want. I've had people that have come into this unit that love the fact that it's so wide open. They would want to take the doors off and actually put their bed headboard inside the closet. It will be completely up to them, but it's open, a very open deal. And if you turn and look at the door wall there, and again, you do have a view of the Chroma building and the downtown skyline.
Absolutely. So, Charles, I have a real question to ask you, and that is, for one, what's the budget of this development?
The budget is $7.3 million.
Okay.
Which is considerably more than I initially anticipated spending. As I kind of alluded to earlier in our interview, when I didn't have the inventory inventory to choose from, I decided to build based upon what I knew and based upon what I knew about myself. And I thought at that time that I could build for about 175 per square foot. I knew that my building was going to be about a little bit less than 18,000 square feet. So my budget in my mind was between 2.6 and $3 million. As you see, I've more than doubled that. But a part of that was from my own personal naivety. I didn't factor the soft costs into my budget. I mean, we all know that there are architects out there, that there are engineers out there, that there are planners out there, that there are permits that have to be paid for. But I didn't factor those soft costs into my budget. And just to let you know, my soft costs amount to just south of $1.5 million. So that was not included in my initial budget in my mind. And as I mentioned, the pandemic happened, prices skyrocketed for materials, and as we all know, subcontractors and contractors are charging a lot more.
Absolutely.
Than some time ago. So therefore, to go from 2.6 to 3 million to 7.3 million was absolutely absurd. However, at this point, I understand it a lot better. It still pencils out. It'll still be a profitable venture for me. It's going to take some time to make it a very profitable venture, but I also consider this my philanthropic project, and this is a project that should help my 3 children to have decent lives in the future.
So I ran into the same issue with soft costs as well. And so just for the folks that are watching, talk to us about what soft costs kind of consist of. You kind of hinted on it.
Yeah. So again, your soft costs are those costs that are not involved in the actual construction process or part of the process. As I mentioned, your architect's fee, sometimes that's based upon a percentage, sometimes it's a fixed cost. You're going to have surveys that have to be done. You're going to have engineers, civil engineers and mechanical engineers that have to be paid. There were just so many different pieces that came into play, something that I had never heard of. Sometimes they had to come out and test your soil. Yeah. I had soil testing done on a regular basis, which cost tens of thousands of dollars. That was not included.
Yep.
In addition to that, but kind of along the same line, when you buy property, you are going to have your phase 1 and your phase 2, again, soft costs that are done, your environmental studies. Sometimes you don't know what's in the ground. I've been surprised on either 2 or 3 different occasions here where there were things found underground when digging that we didn't know were underground. That gives you 2 more costs. That gives you the cost of having to dig that item out of the ground, and then you have to replenish the soil that you've taken out. And you also have to build on clean dirt. People think that because you have cement underground or you have bricks underground that you can build there because those are solid surfaces or solid items. However, those things can still shift, which could cause your foundation to shift and other problems. So yeah, you just learn, or I've learned for sure along the way what goes into play. Welcome to the south side of the property. This is where the exit of the parking lot will be. Again, we're going to have a gate opener here at the end where the residents that do opt for the secure parking option will be able to use their key fob to exit the parking lot. They'll be parking up against the fence there. Here will be my RSR. That's my recreational space requirement by the city. We're going to have some green space here with picnic table and some bike racks for the residents to be able to use who live here, who don't want to trek 2 blocks over to the city park. So again, pretty cool area on the back side here. All these lower level apartments will have patios at ground level with the aluminum black rail around that will give them some privacy. And we're going to have a tree-lined fence across the back of the parking lot that will add more privacy from the outside area. I think you mentioned pre-construction a few moments ago. I did want to kind of touch on that. My pre-construction process was longer than normal because I was in the throes of it during the pandemic. Combined with my naivety and my lack of experience, it took a little bit longer. There were things, again, hurdles that I encountered that if I had more experience, maybe I would not have encountered. with that said, I can tell you a couple of things. One thing that I would say is that if I choose to do it again, I'll be better, I'll be faster, and I'll be stronger. The second thing that I would tell you is that the pre-construction phase for me, coming from where I came from, was painful and it was grueling. However, now that I'm here today at about 90% complete, I would say that it was worth it. I mean, the fact that I am considering another opportunity, developing another property, tells you that it hasn't scared me away to the point where I would not consider doing it again. And the other thing that I would say is that when you're in this arena, when you're in this circle, opportunities come to you. I've had a number of people come to me that say, hey, would you want to potentially invest with me in this project, or would you want to consider doing a project together? I've never done a project with anyone besides my wife. She's my only partner thus far. But I do know that, again, to scale, guys like Dan Gilbert, they don't do projects alone. So if I do plan to scale, I know that a part of that scaling would include potentially taking on someone or some other entity to build with.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm a tenant looking for a place to stay in Detroit.
Yes.
Where can I find information about this site?
Okay. Again, my website is CADSIII.com. My initials, and all of my properties are on that website. My property management company that I have recently aligned with is named Sunbeam Properties, owned and led by a young, dynamic woman named Tierra Reese. Her and her staff are awesome and doing a very good job of helping me to pre-lease this. My desire is to have it somewhere between 50% and 75% pre-leased before the day we open, and we are about almost 30% of the way there right now.
Nice. And well, Charles, I appreciate this walkthrough, as my goal is to really inspire others that look to walk like us to consider development, and also, more importantly, understand that, you know, this is not something that is easy to do. It's probably one of the hardest things to do when it comes to real estate, is taking a site, coming up with an idea, and actually executing it in the format that you've been able to do here. And so, any words of advice for people who are wanting to get into real estate, wanting to get into the development realm?
I think that what you said, Ed, is spot on. It's very demanding. It's very grueling again, but definitely gratifying and fulfilling. My advice would be to just not give up. This is what you want to do. If you want to develop something of this nature, don't give up. Have a game plan, have a strategy, have a roadmap, if you will, of how you plan to get there. Know that everybody can't start where another person starts, but whatever it's going to take for you to build and to parlay where you are today to get to what your end goal is, make sure you come up with your skill, or your approach and your strategy, and go for it. And just don't let anybody take you off your square.
We are realtors and members of the National Association. Just tell your smart speaker to stream
I found Henry. I found Henry. This is where you've been hiding at.